Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I've made a reversible comforter and pillowcase for the grandbaby. And this has a star pattern to it because the baby loves stars. This side is flannel and that side is all satin. Really easy to make, and to be honest with you, it wasn't very expensive either because I was smart enough to get the fabric on sale with a 40% off coupon. So if you want to see how I did this, stay tuned. It's coming up next. Okay, I decided I'm going to make a crib comforter for the baby, and what I did was I took the brown paper that I always use for my patterns, and I get that at Walmart or the Dollar Tree. Walmart's is a little thicker. But anyway, I did 40 inches this way, and I did 30 inches this way. And what I'm going to do is when I cut this out, this is going to go, the 30 inches is going to go on the fold of the fabric. So the finished length is going to be 40 by 60. I measured in 4 inches and marked it, and 4 inches down and marked it. And what I'm going to do is take a plate, just a dinner plate, and I'm going to match that up against the 4-inch lines. And you can see the plate is just touching the 4-inch lines. And then I'm just going to take a marker, and I'm going to be cutting this out. I'm going to repeat the other one, the same thing on the other side. Okay, I have all 3 layers cut out, and I have the fiberfill on the bottom, and the satin is face up and the flannel is face down. And I'm going to stitch in about 1 inch all the way around, leaving an opening for my hand to go through so that I can turn this right side too. And when I turn it the right way, I'll be turning these two. And I'm just going to use a straight stitch, and it's actually going to be not quite as long as the top stitch, but I don't want a real tight stitch because it can pull on it. So I'm going to get started on this, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I got the stitching done all the way around, and I left this much open where I have the pin. And what I'm going to do is, because these are rounded, I don't really have to clip the edges, although I probably will put and this will help take up any bulk that I might encounter when I turn it right side out. And I'm going to do the rest of the corners, and then I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to turn it right side out between the satin and the flannel. Okay, I have it turned right side out, and there's one of the corners, and all you do is keep your hand in between and just run it along the seam, and it smooths it out and makes it a nice oval. And the open part, I'm going to pin this in place, and then I'm going to come in about, well, you can see that that is almost 1 inch, so I'm going to come down about a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to top stitch all the way around. But first I'm going to pin this in place so that it doesn't go sliding everywhere. And of course I'm going to do it in a color that I can see easily, that doesn't blend in, and that way I can take out the pins as I'm sewing. And again, I'm going to use just a little bit tighter than a top stitch. On my machine, it is a 4.5 because a 5.0 is the longest stitch available on my machine. And actually a 5.0 would be like a basting stitch, and I wanted to have a little more than that. So I'm going to keep pinning all the way around so it lays flat, and then, like I said, I'm going to sew in about a 1/2 inch. To keep this the width that I want it, I've got the foot at the edge of the fabric, and the needle is all the way over to the left as far as it'll go. And that gives me just about a 1/2 inch. And what this does is keep the edges together so that you don't have it doing this. It keeps all the seams down flat, and it'll give it a much more finished look. After I go all the way around with this, then I'm going to use the machine once again to help me measure. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, I've got it completely sewn all the way around. And that's going to hold this all in place. And now, because this is a comforter and there is the fiber fill on the inside, I want to get it stabilized in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to use the machine to do the measuring. And I'm going to bring this all the way over to the edge. You see that? It's all the way up against the machine here. And I'm just going to use this as a guide and stitch all the way around. I think the hardest thing about this is flattening out the underside so that you don't make a bunch of catches. But I'm just holding this flat, keeping this side up against the sewing machine, and with that 4.5 length stitch, which is a very long stitch, I'm just going all the way around. And if it starts to bunch, I'll just lift the foot, straighten it out, and bring the foot back down. And I'm going to just do this all the way around. Okay, I've got it sewn all the way around, and you can see on the other side what that looks like. Now I want to put something towards the center just to keep this solid. And the grandbaby loves stars. So I think I'm going to sew a star in the center. I found this wooden star at Walmart a while ago, and I always like having stars around, if just for Christmas and the 4th of July, but with the baby's fascination with it, I'm going to use this as a pattern. Okay, I folded this in quarters to get the very center, which I did right here, and now I have it folded lengthwise in half so that I can get the center right here. What I'm going to do is you can see how I've got the center right there. And I have, it's a soluble ink pen, and what happens is this will disappear in time or if you wet it and wash it, it'll also disappear. So what I'm doing is lining up the middle of the star, and I'm going to draw all the way around it with this pen. And once I get that drawn, I'm just going to do a straight stitch all the way around the line. Okay, I drew the star in with the disappearing pen, and I pinned this all the way through so that it wouldn't shift as I'm sewing it. And I'm just going to, like I said, stitch a 4.5 length stitch all the way around this star pattern. I'm not going to do anything in the inside, nothing on the outside. I'm just going to stitch it because I've already made sure that it's nice and straight underneath. Okay, I'll be back when I'm done with the star. Okay, there it is, and it was just a single stitch all the way around. And that's on one side. And there's the other side. This will fade, and if it doesn't fade within 24 hours, I'll just throw it in the washer and I know it'll disappear. And I have some leftover fabric, and I think I might make a pillowcase to match this. And there it is, done, and just waiting for my little sweetheart. And I can't wait to see how he likes it. I know I had made one very similar for Sean when he was a baby, and he absolutely loved it. And I said to Sean, come look at this and see what you think. And he looked. He said, oh, that's really nice. And I said, look at the other side. Do you remember that? And he said, oh, Mom, yeah. So this is not only going to make the baby really happy, but it made Sean happy too. And you can see I put the satin on the other side of the pillowcase for the matching set. So yeah, I'm very proud of this, and to be honest with you, I just cannot wait for the baby to be able to come back and visit Grandma. Well, if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.